All right, good evening, everybody. We are going to open the regular session. We just got out of closed session, and so we are going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. And Ms. Gattuso, could you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for leading us in that. On to approve the agenda. Dr. Marshall, any changes?
No changes.
All right. Need a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Munoz, seconded by Ms. Moran, to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And it is unanimously carried. If there's any members of the public that would like to have an item placed on a future school board meeting, you may do so by submitting that request to Dr. Marshall at least 2 weeks prior to any regularly scheduled board meeting. Anybody in the audience that would like to speak on any item that is on tonight's agenda may do so when that agenda becomes before us. You just walk up to the podium, you'll be recognized, and you'll be allowed to speak. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. If there are multiple speakers on that agenda item, the time limit is 20 minutes. There is a clock over here. You can't see it. I'll show you. Which is, there it goes. It tells you running, and it will tell you when your time is up. So that's how you know the 3 minutes are counting down. Once public comment is completed, the board starts deliberations, and then there will be no more public comment allowed. If there's anybody here tonight that would like to speak to the board on any item that is not on tonight's agenda, you may do so by approaching the podium, and you'll be recognized. You again will have 3 minutes to speak. If there's multiple speakers on the same topic, it is limited to 20 minutes. And so, with that being said, is there anybody here tonight that would like to address the board on any item that is not on tonight's agenda? Please come forward. All right, seeing no one, we will move on, and we will start with our student representative reports. Ms. Tomei.
Okay, I'm the Pacheco High School student representative, and I'm going to start with Los Banos High School's October report. For the month of October, students and staff will pink every Wednesday for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Los Banos High School's Tiger Gym was updated with murals outside and a new paint job on the inside. S Club raised over $700 that was donated to Knitted Knockers. LBHS Cheer Squad raised over $500, which was donated to a local breast cancer warrior to help with treatments. On Saturday, October 15th, the band and guard competed in the Santa Cruz Band Review. This is the most popular marching competition, and there were 16 bands in the division. LBHS band received 4th place, and the guard received 2nd place. On October 22nd, LBHS ASB held their annual trunk or treat. There were over 30 cars there, and many community members came over to trunk or treat. After the event was over, band's Halloween extravaganza began. The extravaganza and haunted house were extremely successful. LBHS band would like to thank Sandoval Creations, for generously donating time and items to make this event successful. On October 25th, Los Banos High School drama class performed their short play called Henry the Monster at Westside in honor of Anti-Bullying Month. Red Ribbon Week and Crosstown Clash coincided, and Los Banos High School celebrated both Crosstown Clash and Red Ribbon Week with dress-up days. LBHS band partnered with PHS band and performed the national anthem at the Crosstown Clash game. Both bands prepared for this throughout the month. Los Banos High School ASB began working on the Veterans Day parade float. which will be entered in the annual Veterans Day Parade. Interact alongside FFA partnered up and collected over 800 pairs of socks, and those were donated to a homeless shelter. Sports news. Tiger football finished undefeated in league, making them WAC champions. The Tigers capped their regular season with a 49-16 win over Pacheco. The Tigers will host a BUAC colony on November 4th for the first playoff game. Cross country wrapped its regular season and will be sending runners to sections, highlighting the regular season was the first place finish by the senior Crystal Hernandez, at league champions, earning her MVP honors. She was joined by Cassidy Barcelos and Tainara Gomez, who both earned second team honors. LBHS X-Country team has 14 athletes still running, as they all qualified for the section meet this Saturday in Folsom. All fall sports celebrated senior nights throughout the month of October. 7 out of 8 varsity teams all qualified for postseason play. The Tigers had 16 student athletes earn first team all-league, 8 two-team all-league, and 5 were named honorable mention across our fall sports. We are proud to announce that our 245 fall athletes carried an outstanding 3.66 GPA average. Winter sports practices have begun and games will soon be underway. FFA news. On October 12th, 3 freshman teams, along with the officer team, went to Gustine High School to compete in the annual opening and closing ceremonies competition. All 4 teams received gold. On October 17th, FFA held a rigatoni drive-through dinner. FFA students attended a national convention in Washington, D.C. While there, they attended leadership sessions, events, and visited different monuments and museums, including the White House. Los Banos FFA members, alongside Pacheco FFA members, had the honor of laying a wreath at the 9/11 memorial at the Pentagon and Tomb of Unknown Soldiers, along with George and Martha Washington's tombstones. First-year FFA members attended the Greenhand Leadership Conference in Merced, October 17th, at which they learned leadership and what it means to be a part of FFA. Moving on to Pacheco High School's board report, October started with our first Saturday homecoming dance. The semi-formal event was attended by almost 400 Panthers. Pacheco FFA is wrapping up with a busy fall season. The Cotton team recently finished the season with multiple placings and recognitions. In October, the leadership class facilitated a leadership conference for students at PHS. We had over 50 students participate in the conference. Currently, our officer and Greenhand officer teams are busy planning the fall banquet for our students receiving their Greenhand and chapter degrees. We finished our rib dinner and holiday wreath sales with great success. We thank the community members who purchased items and made our fundraiser successful. As we look ahead, while we will be working on state degrees, proficiency applications, and public speaking opportunities, our mental health counselor, Ms. Kilbride, hosted an anxiety workshop in the month of October. On Thursday, October 20th, Pacheco Choir participated in the choral festival held by Fresno Pacific University. Students went on tour of the campus, performed for the professor of choral studies, Dr. Wilson, and participated in a workshop with him. They then had an opportunity to listen to other choirs from the Sanger High School and Golden West High School. The festival ended with a giant sing-along. The week of October 24th to 28th, PHS celebrated Red Ribbon Week with dress-up days and door decorating contest won by Mr. Park's third period class. In sports, the volleyball, golf, and football teams all made the playoffs. Girls tennis also had one of the best seasons in school history as well. Postseason honors for athletics are still coming in with those close to a dozen Panthers earning first team all league honors, and a handful of them on second team and honorable mention. On October 19th, over 2,200 people attended the Pacheco High School Multicultural Open House Night. The annual event showcases cultures from across the globe. Clubs were able to fundraise and earn over $7,000 to spread amongst the participating groups. The annual Crosstown Clash football game was held at Pacheco High on October 28th. The games were exciting, and the halftime fireworks show was a hit of the evening. And that's it. Thank you.
Catherine, great job. Thank you very much. In my haste to start the meeting tonight, I forgot one really important thing, and that is to welcome our newest board member, Lori Gattuso. So, Lori, it's her first meeting. Lori was appointed to the board by board action last week at a special meeting. She's taking the area and the seat that was previously held by Marg Benton, who passed away suddenly a couple of months ago. So, Lori, welcome. We're glad you're here. Thank you very much for stepping up and giving of your time. We appreciate it. Next, California School Employees Association. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Leanne West. I am the CSEA Vice President. I would first like to begin by welcoming Mrs. Gattuso to the board. We look forward to working with you. Tonight, I would like to discuss a need that CSEA feels is being overlooked. Most of you know there are 16 schools in the district, plus the DO, Special Services, IS, FOT, and the kitchens. But what I don't think that most people know is that there are only 7 maintenance specialists in the district. What is a maintenance specialist, you ask? These are the people that we turn to keep things functioning. The toilets flushing, the air conditioners running, the keys unlocking, the lights turning on, the swing swinging, the water faucets running, the swimming pool pumping, and so on. They do the preventative maintenance, perform the regular upkeep, repair the floors, the holes in the walls, build the cabinets, install the water fountains, repair the ballasts, and so much more. The list seems endless, but that is the problem. The lists are endless. The lists and stacks of work orders are endless, and these specialists are overloaded. It is impossible for them to ever catch up. Many of these work orders deal with safety issues that can affect the students as well as the staff, and this is not an area that we can ignore. But with our current number of specialists, we simply do not have enough staff at this time to address all of these work orders and repairs. Thankfully, the district employs a knowledgeable staff that does prioritize work orders by safety. However, if we do not address this issue of understaffing, our fit inspections will soon reflect the problem, and even worse, the Williams complaints will start rolling in. There is a line from a great movie that says, "If you build it, they will come." Well, in this scenario, we build, and the work orders are coming. The problem is that we build new schools and add facilities, but forget to add to the group that is responsible for the repair and upkeep of these facilities and their working parts. As I stated earlier, we have 7 maintenance specialists. One is our swimming pool operator, and before anyone assumes that this is the same job you do at home with your pool in the backyard, it is not. To operate a swimming pool for a school district, you need a very special certification and a lot of training. 2 of our specialists handle the HVAC needs, and 1 more specialist handles HVAC as well as the refrigeration needs of the district. So these areas are pretty covered for now. The 3 other positions are the ones that I'm here to discuss today. We have 1 plumber for the entire district. Hundreds of toilets, urinals, sinks, faucets, hot water heaters, drinking fountains, indoor water lines, outside main lines, snaking, hydrojets, camera troubleshooting, demos, remodels, drywall replacements, restroom hardware, and now the addition of the numerous water bottle fillers at all sites that require regular repair and upkeep. And let's really take into account those emergency flood situations that he is constantly called to while in the middle of other jobs. Those messes, those clogged situations, and exploding pipes that he must get to before the real nightmares begin. Those broken water mains that will flood a field in minutes, and if you're not careful, will make their way into the classrooms. It's a constant pull from so many different directions. The next inundated specialist, the carpenter / locksmith / construction specialist, is responsible for all key codes, making keys, lock installations and repairs, door repairs, of which there are approximately 2,000, although I think that number is very light, all windows and frames, all glass repairs for the entire district, playground and outside structure repairs, all carpentry projects, cafeteria tables and benches, T-bar ceilings, well repairs, safes, interior cabinets, file cabinets, office remodels, and internal construction projects. He's also the one to call when you have an idea in your mind and you need someone to bring it to fruition. I know because he made my oddly shaped desk functional with the leftover scraps of wood in the shop. That's another thing that all of these specialists do. They utilize every piece of material they can to save the district money because their children are students here too. And last, the one electrician of the district. I don't think anyone could ever count the number of electrical outlets or the wiring that runs through everything that we need for all of our devices. The ballasts that hold the lights, the illuminated exit signs, the light switches, the grounding, the running power to pretty much everything that we need, the panel installation, the gears, transformers, and the parking lot lights. And again, this list goes on. And in a pinch, they all come together and do whatever's needed in an emergency, like installing plastic desk shields during COVID or doing a mass cleanup when a senior prank goes horribly wrong. But again, they are just spread too thin, and the ratio of work to the worker is not fair nor equitable. In short, maybe long now, we have added to the district, but we have forgotten to add to one of our most important departments. We depend on these specialists to keep everything running, and if one goes down, we have no backup plan, no second option. Their stacks of work keep growing with no relief in sight. We have witnessed them run ragged trying to play catch-up while being pulled from every corner and even yelled at by other staff for not getting things done quick enough. CSEA can no longer remain silent. It is our duty to fight for our members and get them the help they need. This department needs help. The district continues to grow, but the maintenance staff has not. It needs more staff, and it needs it now. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Leanne. On to Los Banos Teachers Association report. Good evening.
Good evening, and I'll second everything Leanne just said. The door frame on my door in my classroom, not really attached. Printer doesn't work. We all know that our classified are overworked, and we do not have enough. So that is definitely, I will second everything that Leanne just said. I'm Jennifer Wilkin. I am president of the Los Banos Teachers Association. Good evening. November is a time where everyone says what they're thankful for. I am grateful that you are all able to come to an agreement to appoint our new board member. Congratulations and welcome. I am thankful for my family and my friends. I'm thankful for the team of officers and executive board members and members that help make LBCA an organization that I'm proud to be a part of. Being their leader is one of the things that I'm truly thankful for. But with that duty comes responsibility. And tonight, my responsibility includes educating you, our school board. As you know, we are in the middle of negotiations. As I've pointed out before, the district is receiving 13.48% in new and ongoing funding for the school year, and our current enrollment is higher than it was last year. CBT, the insurance plan that certificated teachers are under, has had a 0% increase this year. You heard that right, a $0 increase to the insurance plan for our teachers. That means no cost. While we have a very competitive salary and benefits package for our county, it's November and we still have unfilled teaching positions. So we're not that competitive if we still can't fill all of our jobs. The district has brought us proposals that are disappointing, to say the least. Not only are they well below the fully funded augmented COLA, they're asking to cap benefits in a way that isn't necessary at this time. Teachers' health costs had a 0% increase. That's nothing. Districts around us and across the state have settled for a 9% salary increase or more. LBUSD is currently offering 6.3%. Remember, fully funded over 13% is what we're receiving. They showed us a table at the bargaining table that they sent out in their bargaining report that showed that what our offer was, how it would impact the district, and how it would bankrupt the district. We came back with an offer that eliminated that issue. We responded with a significant financial change. The district took our proposal and called it a day at noon. Banker's hours, when we as teachers have set aside full days for negotiating. The district showed up late and they left early, showing little regard or respect for those of us that were at the table to bargain. We later found out that there were admin team members who were on the bargaining team who were actually in other meetings in the district during the time we were scheduled to be bargaining. How much is it costing the district every time we have to be out of our classroom to be at the table? We have important issues to discuss now. We left that meeting on Monday not able to find a date until the end of January because your lawyer was not available. Amazingly, after that information got out, a day popped open at the beginning of December. You, the Los Banos Board of Education, can have an impact on this process. You guide the superintendent. You have the power to put an end to this already overdue process. Tell your team to come prepared to make a deal. Our teachers, your teachers, everyone standing in the back, we deserve that minimum amount of respect. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
All right, thank you, Jennifer. On to superintendent's report. Dr. Marshall.
Okay, so first I'll say that from a district standpoint, we don't negotiate in public. So we look forward to meeting with LPTA on December 2nd. Now, shifting my presentation, I want to talk about school safety for a minute. We were victim today to, I guess, a trend that's going on across the country. What you're seeing happening is they're calling saying that there's an active shooter in process or something like that. So what happened today, and I think I sent an email out to all staff members that kind of pointed this out, someone called the 911 dispatch and said that the exact quote from what the commander said was that someone called and said, you need to get someone to the school right away or there'll be a shooting, an active shooting, or there's going to be a shooting if you don't get there. Well, what people don't realize is that as things get more sophisticated, there are ways to track this stuff down. So basically within, I guess, well, before I get to that, I want to talk about our staff as far as first the police department. We have a very good police department because what happened when that call was made, they said at a school. That's all they said. So our police department, excellent police department, they sent police officers to every school. They didn't know which school it was, so they just said we'll just send them to everybody. And they did that. So I want to point that out. So I want to thank them definitely for that. Now, shifting back to technology, they were able to identify within like the span of there were calls right after one after another, and calls were made in terms of this is what's going on. We think it's here. I want to say within a 2 to 3 minute period, they had already identified the person at the high school, and that person has been pretty much disciplined and will probably face some criminal charges for that happening. What people don't realize is that as things get more sophisticated, technology gets better in terms of being able to identify the people. If you look at on these websites when people would post stuff on these TikTok stuff, you can trace that stuff. So parents, really, please, if you're watching us, talk to your kids. I think in this particular case, the student said that it was a joke. You're going to pay a big price for the joke. So I want to kind of talk about that first. Next, when all this was going on, I had the chance. I was at Creekside Junior High in the midst of everything. And I really want to commend their staff in terms of, we're talking about some of the classified employees earlier, but I just got to watch in real time how schools respond to crises. And the security staff, Mr. Lawrence, please, you give them, kudos. They stayed calm. And when you stay calm, then the students stayed calm. And then pretty much that gave us the space to kind of figure out what was happening. So you and your team, you all deserve kudos for that. All of our security staff do a good job. It was just great to see that in process. I want to apologize for missing the flag ceremonies. This is a busy time of the year. We had there was a different meeting that was going on that was occurring at the same time this morning. It was one at Mercy Springs that I was invited to in Volta, so I apologize for that. We have several members tonight that are not here. There's an Imagine Learning thing going on in Utah, so Dr. Ritchie, I think, and the San Luis staff, they're there. And then I heard there's an ag dinner that's happening at Wool Growers. That's in place right now, so a lot of people are there. I do appreciate everyone here that you read all my correspondence and stuff like that. As pointed out, as far as the stuff that I said now, so I appreciate that. One thing that and people do write back in terms of when I missed out on stuff. And when I started my October message, I put in there that Los Banos High School hosted the WAC League tennis tournament. Well, one thing that we found out after it was printed was that one of the students at Los Banos High School, Chloe Cotta, she won the league MVP. It's one of our kids, and the singles tournament championship. So let's give her a round of applause, please. Thank you. Next, I'm going to talk a little bit. There's the old cliche, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Mr. Sarsby, sitting right here, basically has come up with this initiative, Donuts with the Principal. That's a pretty, I like that. I think there was one at, I was invited to one at Henry Miller, and I attended the one at Volta, and it was very, very good. So what I'm going to start, my title will be Breakfast with the Superintendent. So, that's, so kind of imitation. So more details going to follow. So that's what I just wanted to kind of put that out there. So good job with that. I want to point your attention to my presentation. I do these every month, so I'm going to do another one. Let's go to my presentation that's up there. And I want to start with it's the one that says, which one? Recovery plan, that's it, yeah. Thank you, okay. Now it starts off, the first thing, if you can't read that, the first thing you will see is kind of it picks up from last month. Last month I gave you all the facility projects that we had going on in the district. If you, I guess, Mr. Thomas was telling me that during the presentation, I guess he was getting a lot of text messages because we had inadvertently forgotten about the second part of the Volta parking lot. So if you see in red, that project, I did go back and check. Mr. Thomas, your staff is correct. So we went ahead and we've added that to the list. So I want to just go ahead and point that out first. All right. Let's move along to now what we've done when COVID, as we got out of the whole COVID pandemic, as we get out of it, there was the state and federal government, they allocated lots of money towards bringing kids back to school safely. So what you're going to see here is kind of an update of what we did with those resources. Because when people give you stuff, you have to give a report in terms of how you spend it and stuff like that. So I'm going to just kind of give you a summary this month of what we did, what happened, and moving forward. Next, please. So basically, just as I said, it was resources provided with a purpose. There's no such thing as just getting free money. They give it to you for a purpose. This particular money, you got it for a purpose. Next. Now, there were several different pots of money, all for the same purpose. You had a grant that was tiered towards paraprofessionals. There was your expanded learning opportunity grant, the in-person instruction grant. That was basically to get people back safely. And then you had your ESSER monies. And all of our plans were kind of aligned to that. We focused on three things in terms of programs and curricula, interim staffing and temporary staffing, and then infrastructure upgrades. Those were the three that we, that all the money that got spent somehow had linked to that. Keep going. So let's go through, and I'll go through each one. Now this one, this first pot, and you'll see the amounts, and there's a deadline that had to be done. That was spent, that was basically the one that was geared towards a lot of your classified employees. A lot of districts made it, go back to that one, a lot of districts made an act, that money was given in a way to, like, if districts laid off people, classified employees, that you could find ways to bring them back. That was not the case in Los Banos Unified School District, thanks to the work of Dr. Calzadillas, Lisa Souza, the classified employees. They repurposed all of the employees, so none of our employees lost jobs during that time. But that's what that money was for. And so a lot of it we used for professional development, and that's how those resources were used. Next. This one was this was more of the in-person grant. This is the one that the lion's share of that money went towards the whole, if you remember, that testing operation we had at the district office. That was very expensive. That was a very expensive process. But that was one of the mechanisms that if you want kids back in school, you had to have that in place. So we spent all of that, all of your PPE equipment. There was some things, it's all there in terms of how those resources were spent. And you can see, like, on some of these plans you have where, I think that expired in August of 2022, we should have had that spent, and I can promise you that we spent every penny. Next. Now, if you look at these other grants, that's where we got kind of creative, like with a lot of stuff, and I'm not gonna read all that to you, but you will see where lots of things in terms of different, like a lot of the staff that we added, a lot of the programs that we've added and stuff like that. That's basically where that money came from. Keep going. I can't read that print, so it's the same thing. You can look and see kind of what we've done. So let's go a little bit past that. So what we did, one thing that's good in terms of, we did add some curricular instructional stuff that we added. But in terms of, I really want to get into this as far as the little pieces here. Some things that we added, I mean, in terms of, we've added Avid at Creekside and at Los Banos High School. We've finally started the journey with dual language. That's starting up. And then you have JROTC is making its way to get started. And then we started STEM at LBE, Miano, and Westside. So those are some programs that we've added that we'll be able to hopefully continue. Next, please. This is all the support that we've added to all of the schools in terms of the school site support. Those, in terms of as far as like your interventions, extra counseling, those are the positions that we added. From an interim district office support, that's kind of interesting. We had a director of COVID position that's not filled because, again, that whole title, director of COVID, kind of scared people away because in terms of, at some point you're going to be gone. So that one that didn't get filled. When Mr. Starsby got the position for the federal, for elementary education, the federal programs position was eliminated because, again, these funds sunset. We do, there was an employee hired for HR classified employees. Mr. Verduzco, you've been great as far as just filling in where we needed you. So we appreciate that. Right now we have a vacant health administrative position open. He's been helping with that. And then there was a special education position that we added that wasn't filled. Next. So here's an update. Now, one thing that is, if you've done research on interventions, it takes about 2 And so, because Mrs. Torres is going to be talking about our test results here in a second. But it takes about 2 to 3 years to start seeing the results of your interventions. I mean, it's a process. It takes time for them to kick in terms of now this year, people are talking about how much they're enjoying the mental health counselors and stuff like that. So a lot of the artifacts that you see, if you look at our suicide risk assessments and stuff like that, they're way down. Those are the kind of artifacts that you need to be able to gauge effectiveness of your program. Reviews have been favorable. I mean, there are lots of emails. I mean, we've gotten emails from people about how much they appreciate the extra ISIs and stuff like that. So, I mean, that we're getting that feedback. One bit of caution, the funds are set to sunset in June of 2024. One thing that I'm going to add to is that a lot of this money that the state provided us is one-time money. That's the rest of the story. So there are a lot of monies that we're getting that hopefully we plan to use to keep some of those things that people have come used to support students. So I want to just put that out there too. Then we have to closely monitor, this is important, the use of these expenditures, because what ends up happening when we get this money, people do come back and audit what you do. They don't just let you spend it on whatever and then that's it. We just finished an audit about a couple of weeks ago where they came and looked at our stuff, and it's a very detailed process. So I've never got any kind of trouble yet for any kind of audit, and I'm not going to get in trouble for any kind of audit. So I'm just going to put that out there right then. Next. So to close, before I go on to my report, I'll conclude my report by saying this. I'll go back to where I started. I look forward to our meeting on December 2nd. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Marshall. All right, on to board member reports. Ms. Moran. Whatever. Facilities. Sorry. I forgot facilities. I'm sorry. I'm getting excited about moving on here. All right. Welcome, Sharon.
Thank you. Good evening, President Pereira and board members and Dr. Marshall. I am going to be presenting a facilities update on our current projects that are underway. I did a presentation with pictures so you guys can kind of see, not just hear about the projects this time. So the first slide here is a picture of Henry Miller parking lot. You can see they're doing the rebar, the picture on the right-hand side, getting ready for the slab there, and then the gentleman is doing some holes for the fence posts. The next slide is additionally Henry Miller parking lot. This gives us some updates of where we are. So the rebar for the concrete, we're about 30% done. The concrete curb work, which you see the nice curb there on the left-hand side, they've actually poured it now. I went over today and it looks great over there. So they're about 80% done with all of the curbs. And then they're about 50% done with installing the fence posts. The things that are 100% complete at that project, the light bases foundations have been installed, underground electrical conduit, and underground water retention system. The next one, the Lofton Stadium Phase 1, which is new concessions, restroom, and athletic team buildings. Building 100 and 300 are the team buildings. Building 200 is the concession stand ticket booth area. So building 100, we're doing ongoing rough plumbing, floor drains, and toilet carriers, setting the forms in preparation for the slab on grade, and the tentative concrete pour for that is 11/29. Building 200, that's the one in the middle, so they're kind of doing the two outside buildings and coming back to that. So that's why we're just now doing like excavation of the footings and the rebar and forming for the footings. Building 300 is actually the one that's the furthest along, and the rebar and the footing for the stem wall has been poured, and they're formed up, and the concrete pour is tentatively for 10/15, and they're working on underslab electrical right now. With the rain, we're still on schedule with this project. There's in the contract, there's 25 days for rain allowance. So until we get to that point, we should be on schedule. The conduit for the future solar project that's going on the rooftops there, that has been installed. And during our weekly owners meeting last week, the DSA state inspector came to the site. He had no trip note, or he had his normal trip notes, but nothing wrong. So the next slide, they're also working on the fire lane. During the excavation of that, they found some old infrastructure that was to the pool. I'm having to work with PG&E to coordinate, get approval to remove that infrastructure, basically, so we have an application in to do that. The underground site electrical and plumbing work is complete, and the light bases have been poured. There's continued coordination with the City of Los Banos Public Works Department. They actually came out and removed some trees that were right up against the fence line for us that were impeding on work that we would need to do. So they came out and removed those a couple weeks ago. And then Pacheco, new classroom addition. So we're kind of in the same spot. No new news as far as push the HVAC systems. We're still scheduled for a December ship date and delivery. The restrooms are complete. Projectors are being installed, and we're coordinating with our district's IS team. In the picture on the left, you can see the flooring materials there getting acclimated. And on the right-hand side, that's some of the cabinetry in the large science classroom there, and you see the IWAS station and the nice long cabinets. The next one, the things that are left to do at Pacheco, we need to do the electrical and plumbing for the HVAC units once they get here, install the units, start up and burn off. They will do the installation of the flooring. We need punch list and final cleaning and closeout. As long as the HVAC systems come as expected, we hope to be in there maybe mid-January. That's kind of tentatively right now. The next slide are the restrooms. They are complete. They just need a good, nice final cleaning. And then the last slide is the exterior of the building, where you can see down one of the hallways, and then where I'm assuming that used to be a nice big gap. Now we have a nice whole building there. So any questions or comments? Okay, thank you.
No questions? All right. Thank you. And my apologies for skipping over that, but we got it anyway. All right, we're good. On to board member reports. So, Ms. Moran.
Hi, I just wanted to have a quick thank you to Ms. King for inviting us to read. So I had the great pleasure to go and read to second graders. I've never been to a classroom of students that were so engaged and attentive, but somehow we went from reading a book about socks to talking about careers. So I think it's just the educator in me that went to talk about careers and career futures and inviting them over to the college for a tour. So it was a really engaging day, and probably the highlight of my day. And we met the future business owner for the donut shop. So their dreams are big. And so sometimes I think we need to remember that, right? That we are talking to the future leaders here in our community and, away from here. So I now have somebody that's going to be doing my hair when they get older. So it was just amazing to be out there, and wanted to thank everyone for the opportunities as they come, and, time permits, I'm more than happy to be there. Have a good and restful Thanksgiving. And again, remember that there's kiddos out there that are dreaming big. So thank you.
All right, Mr. Lieb. Thank you, Ms. Moran.
Welcome. I had the pleasure of attending the 9th annual Multicultural Night at Pacheco High. Excellent event with lots of food and entertainment. Especially liked the band that played with the one Razzo, I think his name was the student's name. So yeah, I too went to Velasco School, and I actually took photos of Trustee Moran as she read in Kim Herron's second grade class, and that was a lot of fun. I have visited various schools since our last school board meeting for Halloween and fall festivities. I enjoy seeing all the excitement in the students' eyes and when I speak to them. And my hat's off, kudos to all the teachers out there. There was a lot of candy being consumed and sugar highs on all the kids. So good job on keeping them coordinated. And I also want to congratulate Los Banos High students Haley Moore and Madeline Greenwood. Today they signed letters of intent to play softball. Haley's going to Cal Poly Humboldt and Matley is attending Cornell University. And tomorrow at 2 o'clock, Abigail Pikus, a senior at Pacheco High, will be signing her letter to play softball at the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. Yes. And I look forward to participating in the first ever career day at Grasslands Elementary next Friday to share with second and third graders the importance of journalism and how to use a pen and a camera to do so. So looking forward to that. And with that, Mr. President, that's my report.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Lieb. On to Mr. Martinez.
Okay. Good evening. First of all, I'd like to welcome Lori on board, no pun intended. She's going to do a great job. I've been busy. I just completed my Master's in Governance course, and it was amazing. And I'd like to see that course part of a requirement for board members, all board members. It's a lot of gold nuggets in there, and it's just an amazing course, very powerful. Let's see, I also got to attend the culture night at Pacheco High School, and it was another amazing day. It's always fun going there. It was standing room only, a lot of good food, good music, like Gene said, and just a great time. On the 25th, I got to attend the Rotary Club as a guest speaker and enjoyed that. I had a lot of fun with that, and I was very impressed with the Rotary Club, I'll tell you. Just real quick, their motto is service above self. And it's just, they were, I was just surprised to find out that they've been around since 1905, that they're an international organization, and their structure is just all about ethics and working together. And they have a four-way test that they apply to any of the issues that they're dealing with. And one of them is, the first question is it the truth? Second is it fair for all concerned? And the third is, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And the fourth is, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And they apply this four-way test questions to whatever they're dealing with to determine if what they're dealing with is going to be, ethical. So I take my hat off to them, and I thank them for inviting me. We had a good time, and that's all I got.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Martinez. On to Mr. Munoz.
Hello, everybody. I'll start off by saying I'm a tennis fan. I've been watching tennis for, I would say, a good 40 years. And I got started by watching this one character making a lot of noise on a tennis court. And this guy by the name of John McEnroe. Okay? I know all the greats, all the champions, because I followed it for about 40 years. So when Los Banos High School held this WAC League Girls Tennis Singles Tournament, okay, I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to check this out. Okay. The schools there were Lathrop, Davis, Pacheco, Ceres, Bayer, Johansson, and Los Banos High School. Okay. It was a 2-day event. So I found that out when I first arrived. So as I was watching them practice and warm up, I saw 2 players, okay, that really stood out that I thought that would take first and second place. Okay. So then I saw 2 players from Los Banos High School, Molina Mejia and Cleo Cata. as the favorites. In the semifinal, it came out to be Maya Martin from Bayer taking out Melina Mejia, 6'3", 6'3". So then I was going to wait and see the final, but they told me the final wouldn't be until the following day. I said, okay, so I got to come back. So I came back, and that final started about 11 o'clock. So that put Mejia Martina from Bayer and Cleo Cotta in the final for the next day. Cleo Cotta from Los Banos High School took first place. And Maya Martina took second. That was a great match. 2 days. It took me 2 days to see all this. I didn't stay for the doubles match. I got kind of wore out just watching the match. But I had a good time. It fit right there. I also attended the 9th Annual Open House Multicultural Night. Okay, I had a good time. The festivities, the music, the food, talking with the parents, talking with the kids. It was really something to see, really something, to attend. Okay, but then I saw the dances, I saw the music, but one thing really caught my eye, and I went back twice. Okay, and what caught me to go back was the chess club. Again, I'm a chess player. I play chess. I know how to play. So I went back to watch these kids play chess. You had 8th graders, 7th graders, freshmen, all the way to seniors playing games. Okay, and so I kind of jumped in and played one. I lost. Yeah, I was outclassed, which I guess that's just the way it goes. But it really caught my eye, and I really loved enjoying playing with the kids. Great. Okay, next, here we have the Parent Leadership Training Institute. Okay, this I brought this to Los Banos for our parents, to help educate our parents to make a better environment at home. I've talked with some teachers, some administrators, and what I got was there was no parent support. Okay, I talked to administrators, and one administrator mentioned out that they get the kids in school, they teach them, they show them, what they need to do and this and that. But when they go home, it's a different story. They come back a different person. So they're really kind of struggling with that part there. The Parent Leadership Institute enables parents to become advocates for their children. This program helps parents develop the civic skills necessary to connect with government, analyze civic issues, and bring out change. This is to help their family, to help their community. So that's why I brought this program over to Los Banos. 5 years ago, I graduated from the Parent Leadership Training Institute. I attended that. I took 8 parents from here, Los Banos, and we took a bus. For 20 weeks, we went to MCOE and attended these classes. Parents will benefit by acquiring tools that include how government works, what public policy is, understanding budgets and resource allocations, ways to reach local, state, and elected leaders, how to lead group discussions and gather ideas, how to work with diversity in the community, ways to empower the community. All of this here will help our parents and help improve our environment. Because in the past, I spent a lot of time at Lorena Velasco with my granddaughter for about 6 years. And one of the most things that I heard was no parent support. So I decided, okay, you know what? They need some help. We need to help bring our parents together, bring our community together. The training. Parents are offered 4 phases of training. A retreat to develop a group and define the mission. That was number 1. Number 2, a 10-week course on parent leadership. Number 3, a 10-week study of politics, policy, and media. And 4 was a community project to practice the learning within the community context. Okay? And who is eligible? Anyone that desires to improve the lives of children, families, and communities can apply. This is an excellent program. Like I said, I've done it. I'm an alumni. How to apply? Okay, there's 2 people that you can contact. Mr. David Ramos. His number is 209-381-6793, extension 6156. And the other one here, I met both of them Monday night. Cheryl Mitchell Welch. Her number is 209-381-6793 with the extension 6221. Okay. You can also contact me at the district office. I have a website. Okay. We have 10 openings left in this. Right now we have 21 parents attending these classes. You got Spanish and you got English. But the main thing is we're helping our community and our parents so the kids have a better place when they go home from school. There's my report. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Munoz. Ms. Gattuso.
I'm on, right?
Yeah, you're on.
Well, I want to say thank you for appointing me to the board, and I'm looking forward to working with the community and the students. I'm just very thrilled to be part of the board. I attended awards at Westside yesterday. Again, seeing the kids and their smiling faces when they get an award, and especially when they don't know they're getting the award, it was just very heartwarming, and I was glad that I was able to attend that. I also, as probably many of you did, attended the Veterans Day Parade. And again, the students, the parents, the staff that put in all the work that they did for those floats and marching in the parade, it was just a beautiful thing to see. And I'm really hoping maybe next year the board might be able to participate as well. When we see our students and staffs and parents doing it, I think we should too. So thank you again, and that's all I have for tonight.
All right. Thank you. On to Ms. Smith.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, Lori. I would love to ride on a float. Yeah. That'd be great. Congratulations to the board. I think you're going to be a great asset. It's a seat was held by our favorite Mark Benton, and I'm sure that you'll do just fine. I'm looking forward to working with you. I'm really proud of the fact that we're bringing in AVIT to Los Banos. AVIT's a great program. Our students will have a program that they can look forward to being a part of. The JROTC program is another great program our students can utilize and benefit from. So I'm happy to see those 2 and others come into our district to benefit our students. We haven't had new programs to our district in quite a while, so really, really happy to see those programs, namely AVIT. That's one of my favorite programs. I also attended Pacheco High School's cultural night, and Mr. Sutton and his staff and students have put together a great program that most city people know about and look forward to attending. That program pulls together community members that have students there and non-students there. It gives us an opportunity to get out, talk to community members. It was a great evening, lots of music, lots of fun. He was there walking around for the whole night. I don't know how you do it, but you do, and it was great. I had a chance to try some really unique meals, dishes. I tried a salsa. It was the hottest salsa I've ever had in my life. I immediately began to sweat profusely. And my eyes, tears, my nose started running. I thought, what kind of pepper are these? They were the hottest ones I've ever had, but it was short term. It was like a few minutes, it was gone. It wasn't so bad. I want to apologize to Barbie Servants for missing a great opportunity that I actually committed to and lost track of my time. I missed an opportunity to share healthcare information to her students for hospital careers. And I did apologize. I'm asking her for another opportunity to go back to her group, to go back and talk to her students. I would love to do that. And I just really apologize for that. It was my loss, in my opinion. It was my loss not to be there. And then I also want to mention that on that picture that the facilities administrator showed us, behind that picture where the concrete was poured was a donut shop. I don't know if I'd park in that parking lot. But it's beautiful work. It's nice to see this beautiful work going on in our district. It's a lot of construction, a lot of new work going on. I'm looking forward to Laughlin Stadium. Pacheco's all done. A lot of beautiful things are happening right here in our town. And if you look around, the construction is happening with our district and then, of course, housing. But that's always something that Los Banos has always done. But the district hasn't seen this kind of construction in my tenure in Los Banos since 1991. I haven't seen this kind of development in the city, especially with our schools getting renovated and updated. So it's really nice to see all that, to give our kids a nice environment. People like nice and new. So it's a beautiful place to come and bring our kids. And as families continue to move into our town, it's making room for everybody, I guess. So with that, I just want to say thank you for having us on the board, having me back this year. I ran a campaign that wasn't difficult, but difficult at all. So I want to thank the city of Los Banos for having me back, and looking forward to working with the rest of the board members. And I think that's all for my notes. You guys have a good night. Thank you. Oh, and happy Thanksgiving. And I also heard there's going to be turkey shortages, so you better get your turkey early if you come. There's be short supply.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Smith. I'm not going to repeat what everybody just said. Like I said, the multicultural night was absolutely wonderful. I, for the last couple of years, have been an announcer for the Los Banos Veterans Parade. And one of the things that amazes me is what our schools put together for floats for the parade. They were absolutely phenomenal. What a lot of people don't know is one of my other jobs is I am a parade judge in different places. In fact, I'm judging the San Jose Veterans Day Parade tomorrow. And so I see a lot of floats. I judge floats. And I can say some of the floats that were put together by the school sites. And let's be honest, it probably wasn't just the kids doing the work. I'm sure there was some parent help in that. Extremely creative, well put together, excellent job. So thank you to all the schools who participated and put together some real entertainment for our veterans and for all the people lining the streets of Los Banos. It was just phenomenal. I know that all four bands were there. Both high schools and both junior high bands were there. So thank you to everybody who made that happen at our school sites, and the kids who were marching in the streets, and the parents that were marching along with them, and the bands and everybody else who made it all work. It was quite a feat, and it was extremely well done. So thank you for doing that. And last but not least, tomorrow's a holiday for everybody. And so I think, since I just mentioned the Veterans Parade, I think one of the things we can't forget is we have a holiday because we have veterans. And I just want to say thank you to all the veterans for what they've done and what they've brought to America, and allowed us to have a beautiful Veterans Day Parade. And we're taking tomorrow off to honor you. So thank you for all that you have done for us. And with that, happy Thanksgiving again. And we're going to move on to the first item of new business, which is the Williams Settlement Report. Dr. Marshall.
Oh, it's actually John Magnuson.
Good evening, trustees,
Hi,
Dr.
John.
Marshall, Cabinet. It's good to see all of you again. I think I was here 2 years ago, and it's always fun for me coming to the West Side to check in with old friends and new. I'm here to do a report on the Williams visits that we made as part of the Williams settlement. It may be hard to believe, but the Williams settlement
was in 2004. And I remember doing the first visits in 2004, and it's hard to believe that was 18 years ago. So we've been charged with this task, and I'm here to report to you on the schools that we visited. And I'd like to thank the principals who helped put all the paperwork together. It was all done and made the visits so much easier to do. There are different areas that we look at when we do a Williams visit. We're required to look at deficiencies identified by grade for instructional materials. And in the schools we visited, Los Banos Elementary, Mercy Springs, and Volta, there were no instructional materials deficiencies. In terms of facilities, there were none identified for the 3 schools that we visited. In fact, the school that I visited, Los Banos Elementary, was scored at 97.09. We also reviewed the school accountability report card, and there were no discrepancies identified there as well. And there was no additional settlement monitoring for any of the 3 schools. So, very positive report. I think it speaks to the work of your district staff and district team as well as the principals. So congratulations on that. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Questions? Thank you, John.
All right.
And also thank you to all of the schools and their principals and staff for giving Los Banos a good run for the money and making us look good. So thank you for that. And John, thank you.
All right. Have a good evening.
You too. Appreciate it. Next, we have a report by the Firehouse Community Development Corporation. Dr. Marshall.
Okay, what we have this evening, it'll be just an update. So we have the Firehouse team, they're going to come up and present. This is an information item.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Jonathan Sanchez, the campus supervisor for Firehouse for all 4 sites. Before I give you guys an update of the program, we have a few students that want to give a testimony.
Hello.
Hi. My name is Jennifer Martinez. I am from Pacheco High School. I have been with Firehouse since 8th grade year. I am now a sophomore. And I want to tell you guys about why you guys should extend the contract with Firehouse. Firehouse has been a really big impact in my life. They have helped me get through many stages of my life that are difficult to overcome. They are the type of people to go out of their way just to make sure you're okay. The most important thing they have helped me with is my personal life. Firehouse will always be my #1 support group to go to about my life and my personal feelings. So I ask you to let them stay in school to help out more of these kids that need it. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Good evening. My name is Natalia and I attend Pacheco High School. And I'm here to support Firehouse. Firehouse has been a part of my life since the beginning of this year. And if you told the person I was in the beginning of this year that I would be able to speak in front of many people here today, I wouldn't believe you. Thanks to Jonathan, Julio, and Yesenia, I am able to speak in front of you today and overcome my social anxiety. Before meeting them, I struggled with huge social anxiety. It started in quarantine when I began to lose myself. It was difficult for me to talk in front of an audience or even one-on-one conversations. I couldn't open up to anyone. I hated the idea of speaking to an adult. They always think of me as another teenager. I immediately felt the comfort of their presence and I felt like I could open up to them. After talking about my struggles and practicing ways to deal with my anxiety, I grew more confident and found the person I once was. The Firehouse program has helped a lot of people discover, change, and find themselves again, leading for a positive change in students and the community of Los Banos. Thank you.
Hello.
Good evening. My name is Giselle Davalos, and I'm a Pacheco High School student, and I have been in the Firehouse program for 2 years now. This program has helped me realize that education should be my top priority. They have recommended me many good programs for jobs and college opportunities for a better future. Many students would agree that without this program, we wouldn't be aware about how many opportunities we have. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello. Oh. My name is Nevaeh Latulia Sanoa. I am a student at Pacheco High School. I have also been with the Firehouse program for 2 years now. It's been an amazing experience, and they've given me a lot of great life lessons, as well as helped me grow and better myself outside of school. For example, finding a job. As of right now, they're actually helping me create my resume. They're also people I can go to when I need a vet, and they give me good advice. They're always willing to help any one of us out, whether it's a school-related issue or just something that has been on our minds. So I'm very thankful for everything they do and the people it comes with, and hope this program can continue. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello, my name is Alexis. I have been in the Firehouse program for 1 year now. I joined Firehouse because I needed help with my homework. I need help in general. I have 2 cousins in Firehouse, Mao Reyes and Carol Franco. They have been in the program way longer than I have, and this program has made so much improvement in them. They are way more calmer and relaxed. I've enjoyed my time there and I want to thank them for their time. I really wish you can consider not knocking the program into its knees and putting into consideration the fact that many more kids need this help and people that can listen to them. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Hello.
I'm Carol Franco, and I'm from Pacheco High School. And I'm here to tell you how much this program has helped me out. And with all my issues, it's helped me out much mentally. And at school, I've improved my grades because of this program. It's they're like a family. Like, they're really there for you. Like, they listen to you, and they try to understand you, and they give you the best advice that you could get. And so, please, that's why I ask you to not remove the program. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi, I'm Alina. I've been in Firehouse for up to 3 years now, since 8th grade. And I don't know what I would do without them. In the beginning of 8th grade, when I just was lost, like completely, like I didn't know where I was. They really helped me find my way with everything. And I'm so grateful. And I don't want to lose them. So please, just keep them here. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi, my name is Angie, and I'm a 10th grader in Los Baños High School. I joined Firehouse in the spring during 8th grade unwillingly. My mom made me sign up because I wasn't doing good in school. I thought I was going to hate it, but now I'm glad that my mom made me sign up because this is my 3rd year in Firehouse, and I'm doing as good as I can be doing. I know when I need help, they'll be there to help me with whatever I need. They're there to listen, and they're there to give me advice. And I can say I have improved socially and academically and as a person thanks to Firehouse. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi. Hi, my name is Elisa Costa. I go to Pacheco High School. I've been bullied since I was in elementary school. I felt as though I had no one, and selfishness started to form. I started to compare myself to the people who bullied me and wondered why. It was always about my body, even though I was 7 years old. This led to body image issues, and I started to develop an eating disorder when I was 11. I joined Firehouse late 8th grade, and I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad I met Yesenia, Julio, and Jonathan. They helped me overcome my eating disorder and showed me other ways to cope. I believe Firehouse should continue next year because they have helped me and many others with obstacles in our lives and grow as people. Taking this program away is taking away people who are needed for those who don't have someone to talk to in general or at home. Our children are our future, and we should do our best to help them.
Thank you, girls. So I'm gonna go back to the presentation here. Is there a clicker here? Okay. So Firehouse update. This is current. So what I want to speak on first is the previous years. When we first started Firehouse, we started back in 2021. As you know, it was that COVID hybrid system that we had. From 2021 to 2022, we did have a few students. I believe it was 13 or 14 students that were part of the program for 2 years, either graduated or no longer wanted the service. But as you see, the previous students' GPA average from the school year, it went from 1.89 to increase to 2.45. We had 2 high school students that graduated from Pacheco High and Los Baños High School last year. This is the quarterly update for this year. So in total, this is just for the first quarter and trimester, so total with all 4 schools. We have 105 students in the program. Out of 105 students, 26 of them were referred from schools due to disciplinary infraction. And that can go from alcohol on campus, vaping, behavior, and with that nature. Out of those 26 students, 7 of them have disciplinary infractions while in program. So they I guess you could say, reoccurrence issues out of those 26. The remaining 79 students that we have in the program are social and academic support, meaning that we have them coming in from outreach, friends outreach. Tiger Proud was a big thing for us. We outreached over 160 students, and we got a lot of students come to us and want to be part of the program. This is Los Baños High School attendance. So what we did here is we got the last year's attendance, and we compared it to this end of the quarter year attendance. So it went from 90% to 96%. And this number will change just because we're going by quarter. So next quarter, we're going to compare the 96% of the end of the quarter for first quarter compared to second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. So that's how we're doing it quarter by quarter. So, but when we first started to get some numbers, we started with last year's attendance and GPAs. Let me add that. So this is Los Baños High School here. GPA, the average went up from, went from 2.66 to 0.265. There's a little decline there, but it's by point. Some students maybe take an AP class, and so that's why it's a little off right there. I'm sorry. This is Pacheco High School attendance. Again, last year's attendance average of 87% to this year's end of the quarter, first quarter, is at 92.2%. GPA for Pacheco High School, it went from 206 to 273. Los Baños Junior High, this is trimester, so it's a little different. So they go, I guess, every 3 months. And so their trimester of attendance for Los Baños Junior High went from 61% to 82.4%. And again, this number would change. We still have more students, but they started second quarter. So that 108, 105 number of students will be a different number as we continue to get students within the quarters or trimesters. Participant GPA for Los Baños Junior High went from 1.54 to 2.50. It's steady increase. That's what we want to see. This is Creekside High School. This is our attendance. As you can see, the attendance went from 67.3 to 73.0. When I submitted the presentation here, I didn't have at the time the data for the GPA, so it's not on the slide, but I do have it here. So the GPA for Creekside for this quarter or this trimester is at 1.58 to 1.56. So there was a little decline there. And that's pretty much it. Any questions?
Great.
Well, first of all, I want to thank Firehouse for doing what you're doing and meeting the needs. You know, there's a need that needs to be met, and you folks are meeting that need, and I just want to thank you for that. I'm really proud of our school district for bringing Firehouse in and other programs in. I think we're one of the districts that is really intent on meeting the needs of all students. And so thank you for what you're doing and continue doing. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else? Gary?
I want to thank you for bringing our kids back. You know, this is really great hearing this on the accomplishments that they're doing. You know,
Thank you.
it's not just one or two. You have what, over 100?
Yes.
100 kids.
And that's just within the quarter. We still have more.
That is fabulous work.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. On to the 2022 CAPS results. Mr. Sowersby.
Good evening, board members. I'll be presenting on behalf of Dr. Sean Ritchie as he is in, I believe, Salt Lake with San Luis High School. Aha, the clicker works. All right, we're in luck. All right, so as you can see on the screen there, for 2021, the data that we used or assessment was different during our COVID years, and we used Galileo and MAP assessments. But back in 21, 22, we reverted back to our CAS testing that we have traditionally done. So looking at this compares Los Banos Unified School District to the state of California, and you can see that the blue is California and the LBUSD is in red. And there's a 3-year comparison, of course, with 2021 left out because of the COVID years. This, again, is the same for California as well as LBUSD. And this here is in mathematics. And again, we do fall below the standard of California. Moving on to comparisons with other like school districts, you can see that Los Banos Unified, how they compare against Merced Union High School and Dos Palos or Loma in grades 11. We are actually exceeding both those two schools there in standards met or exceeded, excuse me. And then as you go across the graph there, the blue slowly goes down, and that's what you want because you want all your numbers there in blue on the far left-hand side. And this is 11th grade for ELA. Mathematics, we have a little ways to go, but again, we are still right there with Merced Union High School, and you can see that Dos Palos is just a little bit below there too. But again, the blue column is still a bit higher for LBUSD, and the far graph there, where blue is the lowest, that is us, and that's where we want to be in that area. For the CAPS ELA scores for all students, we're right up there at the elementary level, the same with Merced City Elementary, and you can see the other counterparts there, reading the graph the same way from left to right. And this is elementary ELA. Here is all students at the ELA level in elementary for mathematics. This here is a breakdown by grade levels, grades 3 through 11. These are our testing grades. Blue is standards met or exceeded, and then standards nearly met are in the red, and in the yellow standards not met. And this is strictly LBUSD by grade level in ELA, or English Language Arts. And the big highlight here is our 11th graders. You can see that they are outperforming everybody else at 45%. So definitely shout out to our 11th graders, people working with those students. This is a breakdown by our subgroups, our Hispanic or Latino, our white American, our African American, English language learners, our economically disadvantaged, and students with disabilities. And I know this is a lot to take in looking at this real quickly. There's a lot of slides here. But the key takeaways for the English language arts is that the percentage of students meeting or exceeding standards declined by 7% from the 18-19 level. Decline is in line with the state of California when looking at overall CAPS scores. This is a statewide trend. When compared to other districts like Merced County, LBUSD students score at or higher above than our counterparts. Even though our scores may not look the best, this is statewide, but we are at or just slightly above. So we are doing good things, but of course we're not where we want to be, and of course we want to improve. Hispanic, white, and economically disadvantaged subgroups declined from 17-18 levels. Our African American English language learners students scores increased. And the percentage of English language learner students and students with disabilities who met or exceeded standards lag far behind their peers. Here's our mathematics levels for comparison. And this is again grade levels 3 through 11, all LBUSD. Blue being where we want to be. Yellow is where we do not want to be. And math has been a struggle, not only for us, but everybody across the state. And through COVID or coming out of COVID, it has been very noted in other school districts as well that it has been a struggle. Here it is by subgroup. And our key takeaways for mathematics is the percentage of students who met or exceeded standards declined significantly after third grade. We can clearly see that. The pandemic disproportionately affected mathematics achievement, which is felt statewide. All subgroups except for African American students experienced a decline in our mathematics scores. I know, go ahead.
No, go ahead, finish.
I was going to say, in conclusion, I know this was a quick rundown. There are a lot of graphs, there are a lot of information being thrown at you. So I do realize it was a lot. Questions?
So what I wanted, and I don't know who's doing the slides, but could you go back to one of the beginning slides?
Which one would you like, Mr. Pereira?
Just either one, just pick one.
Do you want the comparison versus the state, or would you like one compared to other school districts?
Okay, that's a perfect one there. So I think you need a better explanation of what this graph actually shows. Some people are looking at this and probably really don't understand what the three bars are, or the three sections of bars. Like the first one on the right, the left, the left. Standard, met, or exceeded. That's where we want everybody to be, right?
Absolutely. So the blue is exactly where we want to be.
Right. And so, we have 45% of our students who have met or exceeded that standard. In the middle box, standard nearly met means they almost got there, but they're not quite there. And we have 28% there. And then the last group of columns is standard not met, and that's where we don't want to be, because obviously those students have not met that standard. I think you went through it quickly, and I understand it. But maybe some of the other board members or people watching on TV did not quite understand why we have three sets of columns. And I think it's important that we know that, we all want to be on the left-hand side, standard met or exceeded. And, like in this graph, our 11th grade students did a great job. There's 45% of them that have met standards. So I just wanted to point that out, because people were probably going, whoa, that was a lot of stuff. So thank you.
Oh, no problem. Any other questions?
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good information. All right. Mr. Verduzco, we have you up next for the revised board policies, first reading.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President Pereira. Thank you so much, and board members, trustees. Good evening. Administrative Regulation 5141.21 was last updated in 2012, and Board Policy 5141.21 in 2014. This update aligns the AR and BP with current practice. The update is crucial because it includes updated language for administering medication and training staff to administer naloxone, commonly known as Narcan. Naloxone is a life-saving medication used to reverse an opiate overdose during an emergency to aid any person suffering or reasonably believed to be suffering from an opioid overdose. The language updates also include language about epinephrine, autoinjectors, as well as grammatical and formatting changes. It is recommended that the board declare its intent to adopt the following policies: BPAR 5141.21, administering medication and monitoring health conditions for students. Thank you.
All right, are there any questions? There was a lot of pages and a lot of stuff with lines through them, and I guess that's when you have a policy that's 10 years old and hasn't been updated for a while. So thanks for all the work on that. This is the first reading. It will come back to us next month on the consent calendar for final approval, but if there's no questions, I'll entertain a motion to our intent to declare this, adopt this item, okay? Got a motion by Member Smith, seconded by Mr. Martinez, to declare intent to adopt. All those in favor? Opposed? And it is carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, on to the next item is the bid approval for a walk-in freezer, which if you walk outside, it's almost freezing.
It almost is. You just put it outside. Good evening again. It is the recommendation that the board accept the proposal submitted by Lanati Refrigeration for the new walk-in freezer unit at Creekside Junior High School and approve a notice of award and authorize the superintendent or designee to sign contract documents and issue the notice to proceed.
All right, and obviously the freezer is for the
It's for the school nutrition
it's the nutrition
services
program,
area, yes.
Right. All right. Any questions? Motion, please. We got a motion by Member Smith, seconded by Member Moran, to approve the bid approval. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And it's carried unanimously. All right, and you're back.
And
Lofton
I'm
Stadium.
back. Lofton Stadium change order request. It is a recommendation of the board that the board approve contract change order number 1 with BMY Construction Group for the construction at Lofton Stadium, Phase 1.
Any questions about the change order?
The change order is for so there's 2 items on the change order that add up to the $35,929.80. One of them is for an additional bronze plaque. It's customary that you thank the voters or however the money came for that project. It's typical that this is a bond measure program, so we would put that on this plaque, and that should have been designed on there. So that is adding that additional area. Bronze is very expensive, I guess. And then the other portion is the conduit for the solar equipment that's going to be put onto the building after we're finished with this project. We have another contractor coming in to do solar on top of those buildings, but they needed this conduit put in, which would not be part of the original scope of work at Lofton.
And both of those are included in 35,000.
Those both add up to $35,929.80. Yes.
929.80.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You have all that on page 55. Or 56, 55. All right. Any other questions?
It wasn't a part of the original bid?
It was not part of the original bid for Lofton because that work is part of the solar work. We're just doing it now, so our nice concrete or whatever's there, we're not having to tear up to do that conduit after the fact, because that conduit is all to do with the solar, which is not part of this project.
But the
It's
solar-
another
The
project.
project. The solar was a part of the original bid, right?
I'm sorry, say it
Was
again?
the solar a part of the original bid?
No, the
Was
solar
not.
is a
Came after.
separate project. But we just want to do the infrastructure ahead of time while we have that site open, the ground opened up. So we want to do that work now. So when we're doing the solar work, we're not going to tear up any flat work, anything there.
Gene?
Yeah, the way it was explained to me from Amir was that originally when they created the project, it did not include the solar because of, if they would have included the solar, they would have to go back to the drawing board and redesign the whole thing. So it was recommended that they do the project, submit it as is, and then go back and add the solar, which they did. So the state doesn't get involved and bog down the whole system. So it was, the solar was always an idea, but it wasn't the original plan when they submitted it.
All right, any other questions? All right, seeing none, need a motion to approve. We got a motion by member Lieb, seconded by member Munoz, to approve the change order request. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And it's carried unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
On to the provisional internship permit, also known as a PIP. Dr. Calzadias.
It is recommended that the board approve a provisional internship permit, which will allow the following assignment for the 22-23 school year, and we are proud to say that Heidi Souza would be hired as a district-wide elementary music teacher.
Finally, that position has been open for over a year.
Finally.
Gee. Any questions? Motion, please. We got a motion by member Munoz, seconded by member Moran, to approve the provisional internship permit. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? It is carried and unanimously. Thank you. Item H, annual organizational meeting. Dr. Marshall?
That's going. Thank you. It's recommended that you approve Thursday, December 15th, 2022 is the date of your annual organizational meeting. And I think the change is because of with the elections to make sure that the results are all in on time.
That's right. We have to have an organizational meeting every December, and it has to be held after the second February in December. Second Friday in December. Second Friday. I'm tired. Second Friday in December, and that's by Ed Code. So, our bylaws actually say that our December meeting will always be, get this, are you ready? The first Thursday after the second Friday in December, which in this year happens to be December 15th. So most years, I mean, almost every year, all of our board meetings are on the second Thursday of the month, except for December, and for most Decembers, because there are some Decembers where it may be on the second Thursday, but in this case, it is the third Thursday. Kind of throws everybody off. So don't come here the second Thursday in December, because we're not going to be here. We'll be here the third Thursday in December. It's a little change there. Any questions? Motion, please. We got a motion by Ms. Cattuso, seconded by Mr. Lieb, to approve the annual organizational meeting on December 15th. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? It is carried. All right, thank you. On to the consent calendar. Are there any pulls tonight? All right, seeing none. Need a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented. We got a motion by member Martinez, seconded by Member Smith to approve the consent calendar as presented. It is a roll call vote. Tina?
Ms. Gattuso? Mr. Lieb?
Yes.
Ms. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Munoz?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Martinez? And Mr. Pereira?
Yes. All right, it passed unanimously. On to item 11, which is reporting out a closed session action. We had a closed session. 4 items were on the closed session calendar. Close to the agenda. Only 1 item was an action item, and that was a student discipline case. So expulsion case number 5518748 is expelled for the remainder of the school year. The student is to contact Educational Service for readmission following the period of expulsion for a review of attendance, credits, and/or grades, behavior, and recommended counseling. This student is referred to Valley Community Day School. The motion was made by Member Martinez, seconded by Member Smith. The ayes were Gattuso, Lieb, Martinez, Moran, Munoz, Pereira, and Smith. There were no noes, no abstentions, and no one absent. Next item is the discussion and future information and future agenda items. Does anyone have anything? I have one thing to remind everybody, and that is we have a special meeting on December 8th. That's the second Tuesday in December. Sorry about that. But that's a special meeting at the district office. It'll be at 5 o'clock. So don't forget that. And with that, we're supposed to go back into closed session, but we finished everything tonight. And so I have nothing to report out. Everybody, thank you for being here, and have a safe weekend and enjoy your extra day. And see you next month. Good night, everybody. We are adjourned.